Hey guys, this is Danny Boy. This is my NG run for the demo on Insanity difficulty as always. If you'd like to see some of the other classes, check out my channel. I have a link to it in the description. If you don't know how to check YouTubers' channels, just click on my name, that'll send you there. These episodes are under uploads as well as I have a playlist. You can check that out. So the NG, not much has changed for the NG between this game and Mass Effect 2, as far as I can see. They play very similarly. I am not going to be using Sentry in this demo. I apologize if you were interested in seeing Sentry, but I've already used it in a previous run when I was just testing out some of the abilities before committing to an actual full run. And I'm not very impressed. It basically seems to be more like, it's absolutely nothing like I expected it would be. It seems to far more be the NG's version of a grenade, except he has infinite of them. He has unlimited throws. So you throw a box and a little hovering. It's more of a gun drone than a real sentry. I mean, just for example, if you'll see the combat engineers turrets. That's what I was expecting. Something like that. Maybe not to that extent, but something similar to that. And I was definitely disappointed to see what I actually got. I have a feeling that it's far more effective than I think, but I just would rather try out some other things. I'm not sure if I haven't really made a final decision whether or not I'll use that when the game rolls around, but I'll have to practice with it and or rather test it. So yes, sabotage. Oh dear God, sabotage. Does that make this sequence so much easier? I'm trying to use sabotage then cast my drone, but I should have just cast spam sabotage the entire time, because even at rank 1, or I think it's technically rank 2, but that just gives you a recharge upgrade. I tend to, if I'm going to actually take a power, I always upgrade it to at least rank 2 just to get that 25% faster recharge. Seems to be very important in the demo to get decent recharge rates. But even without any other perks, it seems to not attack other enemies, but they attack it as if it was hacked. So it doesn't just overheat the sentries, and you can see right now. Oh, actually no, I think it does attack them. Alright, yeah, that's incredibly good. Very, very, very good ability. Makes this whole sequence by far the easiest that you can run it is on an NG or on an infiltrator. Those are the two classes that have sabotage. So yeah, finish that easily. I have to say this was probably my second easiest run. Arguably my easiest. I'll say that it's not my easiest just because it required more thought than the soldier. The soldier was very just spam one button, occasionally lob a grenade if you feel like it, and then just shoot everything, whereas this required me to actually use a number of abilities effectively. But, and I still don't understand, and it's the same thing in Mass Effect 2, why the NG is such a low-played class in the game, because in my opinion it's arguably one of the most powerful. The only thing that comes close, I think, is Adrenaline Rush. Drone is so incredibly useful. Their kit is just extremely well balanced. I'm using, and they even have by far, they are the most powerful in terms of control class in the entire, at least in Mass Effect 3. Singularity is very good in Mass Effect 2, but in Mass Effect 3, and you can definitely disagree with me, I could see how that's arguable with there being so many more red bars now, so Singularity can really hold its own. But the fact that they have Drone, plus Sabotage, plus Overload, and I think you can expect that to also act as a soft control eventually, and of course they now have Cryoblast, and again, more red bars means Cryoblast is actually useful on Insanity. Though I have to say, and it was similar in Mass Effect 2, if I'm playing an Adept, I'm going to spec into Singularity, I'm not going to bother with Pull, because they basically fulfill the same role. I kind of feel that that's a similar deal in Mass Effect 3 with Drone and Cryoblast, just because they both start up your global cooldown, and the Drone is way more flexible than Cryoblast, and they basically accomplish the same thing. They lock down a single target. Whereas the Drone, though, also does damage, and you can... It's a persistent threat. It's a pet, so to speak. However, I don't know off the top of my head how Cryoblast evolves, but just at the ranks that these were both at, I had Cryoblast, I think, at rank 2, I had Drone at rank 4 to make it explode. Definitely they fulfilled the same role, so I didn't bother. I'm curious as to whether or not Drone... Can it take friendly fire? Like, if I shoot it, will it take damage? I'm still not sure if that's the case. Yes, did not have a difficult time here. I absolutely love casting Drone on single opponents and then flanking them. It's great to use on those shield guys if you don't have access to biotics, because cast it on them, they'll turn around to attack it, and then you just flank them and go by their back, and their shields are useless. So it works very nicely. The one great thing about the Engineer is you have so many options. It's such a flexible class that You know, is the drone always the best choice? Should I be, you know, using sabotage? Should I be using overload to take out shields instead rather than just stunning him? Or should I just use the drone on him, not bother taking out his shields, and then take him down while he's distracted? It's definitely a phenomenal class. It's certainly... I'd probably say it's my favorite. It was definitely my favorite in Mass Effect 2. Not so much my favorite in Mass Effect 1. We'll see how things go in Mass Effect 3. I definitely like the changes to the Infiltrator, though, so that might take the cake for me. The Infiltrator will be the final class I make a video for, and then I'll be deciding which class I'm going to choose to run through Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2. It's definitely right now between the Infiltrator and the Engineer, the tech classes. Those are my favorites, with the Soldier or the Adept being my third favorite. Kind of a tie between the two of those. I am clearly the most decisive person. The other thing with Cryoblast is I feel like its ammo version is way better. I feel like what the Infiltrator gets, and maybe in, you know, the Soldier, maybe the Vanguard, I don't remember. I think the Vanguard gets it too, is more useful. Just because it doesn't take up a global cooldown. You just cast it, and then, I mean, just getting 2 or 3 shots on a guy is going to guarantee pretty much that he's going to freeze. So the fact that it doesn't take up the global cooldown allows you to use something like Incinerate instead. I would definitely take Incinerate if I was doing this again instead of Cryoblast. And then hopefully there's a party member in the game that has cryo ammo, and then you can just spec for the party version of it. I was, of course, using armor-piercing ammo from Garrus. I hate not having an ammo power. It really does make a very noticeable difference in your kill speed, so I always try to get some sort of group ammo power. You can certainly play the Engineer more as a shotgun engineer. Absolutely, I actually had a run-through as a shotgun engineer in Mass Effect 2 on Insanity. I'm tempted more to go as a shotgun infiltrator, though, in this game. I feel like shotgun engineer was more effective in the previous game, and shotgun infiltrator is more effective in this game. Though, then again, maybe not. I'll have to play with the classes more. They're definitely both extremely enjoyable. If I played the engineer, I would definitely keep a shotgun in... Very close there, by the way, very near death. I would definitely keep a shotgun in my loadout, just in case. Because it's fun sometimes to flank people in close, especially when you have all the control that an engineer has. I don't know, guys, I haven't really played the game enough to make a lot of these final calls, but just from my very early impressions, this is sort of the gist that I'm getting from it. For one thing, I would definitely like to try out the Sentry more, but I did try it out, and it's kind of a pain to just start these run-throughs to experiment because you have to go through all the cutscenes. A lot, I mean, and of course you can skip a lot of them, but some of them aren't skippable. You have to wait through that, and you have to go through the tutorial, and it's rather annoying, so I'm kind of hesitant. But I'd like to try it out some more before I make a final decision. I imagine it could be really powerful in more open areas, but it seems to be kind of difficult to place properly to get because it bounces, and I don't know. We will see. I think my performance against the boss on this final, or not final run, second to last run was probably my best so far. I was nowhere near as defensive as I usually am, and really just tried to go all out against him and not be so cautious, and I think it really paid off, at least as far as making the fight entertaining. I certainly had a lot of fun on the Engineer, but there was something that I'll mention once we get to it that I thought was certainly different. We'll see in a bit. So again, you know, combining everything that the Engineer has, plus the Singularity from Liara, I mean, she also has Stasis even that you could be using, and her passive, pretty much every single rank of it lowers her cooldown, so you definitely could be using her as an incredibly powerful companion as far as control is concerned, and just make everything much easier. I'm curious as to see whether or not there's other party members that have drone, like in Mass Effect 2. It's pretty crazy to have, you know, 3 drones in a party at times. Yeah, I'm not sure yet about the Engineer. I'm kind of hesitant to actually use him because he's so powerful again, and I'd like the game to be, you know, challenging. But I have so much prior knowledge and experience playing this demo now, I think that things will be much harder in the actual game. So I don't want my perspective to be skewed in that sense. So running over here, kind of a pain to deal with these guys, even with all my control. Because my control might be good, but I do still have decently long cooldowns, and my damage isn't great. And unfortunately, Liara died. That made things way difficult, and I really wanted to save that charge, but I wanted Singularity to deal with these guys. They're much easier to deal with Singularity. And then that dude. Why? Why do you exist?
Understood.
the drone finished him off. I feel like there's somebody left alive. Yeah, there is. That was close. Good thing I used concussive shot there. And this is why I kind of wanted to save that last charge, but again, I've showed that I can finish this quite easily with just one bar, so doesn't really matter. As long as you have the shield, doesn't really matter. So here I go. You know, I'm tired of taking cover. I will pole dance with him, to use a term from other games. And no, I'm not going to go into more detail. And it honestly works very well. And the thing that was interesting is he doesn't seem to attack the drone anymore. In Mass Effect 2, bosses just about always would attack the drone rather than attacking you, and you could just spam cast it while damaging them and finish them off pretty well. But not the mech. He does not seem to care. Though he does seem to be having some difficulty choosing targets. He's kind of looking around. But he shot me there, but he missed. I love using the shotgun on him. When I'm playing the Infiltrator, I'll have Cloak as a bit of a buffer, so I will finally try just circle strafing him and jousting with him for the hell of it. That'll be next on the list. Alright guys, this video is coming to a close. This was another playthrough with no deaths, so I guess I can't really rip on the soldiers out there too much, because clearly the engineer is just about as easy as the soldier, depending on your perspective. I still will say the soldier is easier just because of his variety of ammos, and Adrenaline Rush is just that good, and this doesn't require much thought, whereas the engineer requires a little bit more thought. But if I'd incinerate right now, I'd be killing this guy even faster. So, again, maybe I'm just biased. This video is coming to a close, guys. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos, subscribe, like, comment, whatever. Check out my channel, and have a good one. Thanks for watching.